Welcome to today's Coach's Corner. I'm Mike Van Hoozer and wanted to follow up on what we talked about on our Monday Morning Moments segment about pressure being an illusion. And I think when we think about that, it is really an illusion. A lot of times I'll talk to an athlete and they'll say, well, I feel pressure, or I sense pressure, or the pressure's getting to me. But usually pressure is something we add to a moment, and I quoted Sydney McLaughlin in that segment, and we'll post a link to it on this YouTube video. But I quoted her about at the Olympics when she was shattering her own world record and was asked about the pressure and how she deals with it. Her response immediately was, well, pressure is just an illusion. It's a fear of something that hasn't happened yet, and it's a weight that we add to the weight of the moment. And we acknowledge when we work with athletes and other different types of people in coaching that each moment has a weight in and of itself. And certainly there are certain moments that have more weight than others. But pressure is something we add to that moment and make it more than it should be. And I questioned listeners to that segment. If you listen to it, I posed this question about, are you adding weight to a moment? Are you adding pressure to certain goals that you're trying to achieve? And if so, how do you think about that differently? And how do you step out in confidence and think through that? I also mentioned that we'd be talking about 5 forces, and today that's what I want to do. So we're going to get right into the content and talk about these 5 forces. Pressure's one of them that come against us when we're trying to accomplish a goal or we're trying to achieve something in our lives. And most of the time we see this with athletes, but you'll see that it applies in all aspects of life as well. So let's get right into it. We've talked about pressure. Pressure is one of those 5 forces. We think that's an illusion, and it's something that we need to make sure that we live out in truth, and we think about pressure in a different way and have really a present moment perspective. And so that's how you counter pressure, is that you have a present moment perspective. And what does that mean? Well, we're not thinking in terms of what ifs or things that haven't happened yet, but we're thinking about this present moment and what can we do in this moment to advance the ball towards our goal. And that could be in a training session or in a practice session, giving it 100% or giving it your best, or it could be just giving energy and effort in the context of a game or a match or a tournament or a client meeting, whatever you're thinking about, whether it be sports, business, or life, and making sure that we're focused on the things we can control in that moment. And that will tend to focus our attention away from any pressure we're adding to moments and focus on the things that we can control. So that's one of the 5 forces that we see in dealing and working with athletes and dealing with trying to accomplish our goals. A second force is actually fear, and we refer to fear being a liar. Fear is a liar. It's something that comes against us. It's an enemy that's trying to create fear in our minds, and it's based on what ifs. What if this happens, or what if I fail, or what if we don't win the championship, or what if I play bad? And it's all based on kind of this if-then scenario. And we can't live our lives in what ifs, especially if they're negative what ifs. And we really try to get you to position that what if in terms of a positive question. Instead of what if I fail, what if I succeed? What if I'm able to give my best? What if I'm able to play with energy and effort? And what would that look like? And to step out then into an I will mindset and not just, again, approach that with a question of what if, even in a positive way, but answer that what if question in a statement or imperative way of I will, and I will accomplish this. So again, instead of focusing on what ifs and living in that fear, it's stepping into the mindset of I will. And I will doesn't mean that every moment's going to be perfect, or that you're going to hit every shot, or that you're going to accomplish every goal or every moment that leads to that goal. But I will means that you're going to give 100%. You're going to have a determination that focuses on accomplishing that goal. And I've shared the story many times, and when we talk to athletes about watching Steph Curry, and I don't know what his lifetime basketball shooting percentage is from 3-point, but let's say it's high 40s, 49%, or in the 50s. That means he's still missing 50% of his shots. And I've seen certain games where he's gone 0 for 6 to start the game. And you look at it and say, well, man, he can't hit a shot. But he's not thinking about that and backing off of that and saying, well, what if I miss this shot? He continues that game with determination. And a lot of times I've seen him finish those games going 6 for 6. And you look at the box score the next day and he went 6 for 12 and shot 50%, which was his average. But there was a certain moment where he wasn't making any shots. And then there was a moment where he wasn't missing any shots. And so he went into every shot with that I will mindset. And so I think when we think about fear, we have to step out in confidence with that I will mindset. So pressure and fear are 2 of the 5 forces. A third force that comes against us is doubt. And doubt's really a dream killer. When we have doubt, we're not pursuing our dreams. We're not stepping out in confidence and having a joy of pursuing those dreams. We have to change doubt to truth and think about how are we stepping out in truth and what's true about us as far as our gifts, talents, and opportunities, and being able to step out and walk in that truth. And there's a quote that speaks about doubt, and it says, doubts are more cruel than the worst of truths. And I think there's a lot of truth to that quote and thinking about that when we live in doubt, sometimes that can be just this cloud that's hanging over us that's more cruel than the worst of truths of actuality, of failure or learning from failure or things like that. And we have to make sure that we're stepping out in confidence, in truth, and step out in faith with an expectant hope that we're going to accomplish what we accomplish and not walk out in doubt and say, well, I don't think I can do this, or I don't know if I can do this. Instead, walking in a truth of saying, I've been blessed with gifts, talents, and abilities, and I've done the preparation needed, and I'm going to walk out, and no matter the results, I'm going to step out in truth and in faith with an expectant hope that I'm going to accomplish this goal or this dream that I've been pursuing. So doubt's another thing, but we have to combat that with truth as far as that force. Another force that comes against us are negative thoughts. And I've seen some of the best athletes that I've worked with, and even some of the most positive people that still say, well, sometimes I have a negative thought that just jumps in my mind before I'm getting ready to do something. And what do I do with that? And why am I experiencing that? Because I feel like I'm a very confident person, a very positive person. But again, I think that's the enemy just trying to take us down and take us down a spiral, a downward spiral of negativity. And we have to use this technique that we've talked about many times on this channel and on the podcast as far as replacing that negative thought with positive thoughts. And not just sugary thoughts of kind of you're special or that kind of thing, but something that is really an activating phrase that's going to activate something physical for you to move you into confident expectation and action towards that goal. So this whole replace, not repress is really important. And the reason we're saying not repress is it's kind of like a beach ball that you press underneath water or try to press over and over again. And when we do that, we can't, it's like that beach ball that's going to come up out of the pool when we try to press it underneath water. If we're just saying, don't think about the negative thought, don't think about that, don't think about that. We have to replace that with something that's going to be positive for us and a positive thought that's going to activate us being able to accomplish our goal. So negative thoughts can jump in our mind, but when we replace those with positive activating phrases, that helps us to go out and step out with confidence to pursue our goals. And then the fifth force that comes against us is lack of confidence. And this can be based on some of the other forces that come against us that just put us in a state of not being confident. And lack of confidence is just bad math. And what I mean by that is there's 2 equations that we can use to develop confidence. One is an outside-in approach. Another one is an inside-out approach. The outside-in approach is not the right approach. And when we're doing that, we're living out of this equation of identity equals performance plus the opinions of others. Identity equals performance plus the opinions of others. And it's an if-then statement. If I make this shot, then I'll feel good about myself. Then I'll feel confident. And if you tie it straight to our identity. And if I don't, and people think that I don't, or I perceive that they think that I didn't play well, then I'll feel bad about myself. I won't feel confident. And that's just bad math. And we'd rather you live out of the equation of performance equals talent minus distractions. And performance equals that zone of maximizing your talent and being process focused on those things. And then using techniques like replace, not repress, and other techniques that we work with people on to minimize the distractions that get in our mind. And so when we're using that right kind of math, We're very process focused on working towards the goal, and it's not based on outcomes that we can't control, but it's based on things that we can control. So again, we don't want you to allow doubt or negative thoughts or lack of confidence or fear or pressure to get in the way of accomplishing your goals. Confidence is a choice, and you can combat these 5 forces today in walking out in truth. And your best days are ahead of you. And you have to continue to think like that and think about the talents, gifts, and opportunities that you've been blessed with, and then step out towards those goals today and have a present moment, a perspective on how to do that. So again, I hope this has been helpful to you. If there are additional resources that we can provide for your coaching, we've got links both on our podcast and also on our YouTube channel to help you out. And we want you to step out in confidence this week, maximizing your potential and achieving your goals. Don't let pressure or any of these other forces keep you from doing the things that you were created to do and becoming the person you were created to be.